Welcome to the Next Dimension Podcast, your portal to an extended reality. Every week we talk about the hottest topics in XR and let you join the discussion live on MRTV. And now, get ready for another exciting episode coming up.
Hi and welcome to Season 3, Episode 19 of the Next Dimension Podcast, your podcast that's all about VR and AR. And today, I'm here again with VR Flight Sim Guide Steve. How are you doing?
How's it going, Seb? I'm very well. It's great to be back here on the podcast. And yeah, ready to talk about all things VR related. And it's going to be a great show today, I think.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. It's going to be super exciting. Yeah, and I'm here, too. My name is Sebastian, founder of MRTV and the host of the Next Dimension Podcast. For all of you out there who don't know this podcast, well, this podcast is all about VR and AR, but honestly, more about VR right now. Probably in the future, it's going to change with mixed reality and AR, but honestly, today it's going to be VR only. That is for sure. And you can watch this as a live stream every Saturday here on MRTV, but this is also an audio podcast. So if you want to listen to us like at work, you could do so, and I advise you to do so. It will make workflow much easier and faster. So you can go anywhere where you can find podcasts, and you can find Next Dimension Podcast and listen to us. Now, if you enjoy this podcast, it would be great if you would give us a 5-star review on iTunes or on Spotify. So get out your iPhone or your iPad now, open the podcast app, which is pre-installed, find us, and do leave us that sweet review that we're going to watch, and then we will like you. There will be, yeah, I just made that up. I really hope you would do that. That would be amazing. Yes. So today we have a pretty amazing topics. We are going to talk about the Meta Quest gaming showcase for a moment, not too long, I believe, right? We don't know so much about it, but well, we will simply guess what's going on. More importantly, we're going to talk about hardware. You know, I'm in love with VR hardware, and I know Steve as well.
Of course.
Right. It's like wow, it's so fun to talk about VR hardware. Because with every new hardware, like our hobby gets a bit more amazing. And it is still working, you know? Like when I get a new phone, yes, okay, probably the screen is a bit better or something, but we have reached the peak already, right? With smartphones. It's the same. I can buy like a 200 euros Android phone and probably have a very similar experience like with an iPhone, honestly speaking, right? Nearly as good. So yeah, but with VR headsets, wow, with every new hardware, for me it feels like, okay, it's Christmas time. Like opening the presents and then wow, it's getting better. My favorite hobby, just like, when I was younger and I was getting those video game consoles, right? Super Nintendo, GameCube, and so on and so forth. And with every new game console, the hobby got better. Do you have the same feeling, Steve, with VR hardware?
It's a good point because VR is still in its infancy in many ways, particularly hardware-wise. We haven't reached that point yet where we've got the perfect VR headset or anything close. So
not yet.
I think each iteration of VR hardware is leaps and bounds ahead from the other, you know. So I think because of that, it gets very exciting again. And if you think about even the last 2 years, image quality in VR has just absolutely, like the progression has been amazing, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
If you think about sort of even sort of the CV1 wasn't that long ago,
exactly,
in terms of the whole picture of things.
I thought it looks amazing. I was like, wow, woo, this is great, you know. And now probably if I would go back into it, I would think like,
I really. Have you got a CV1, Seb? You must have.
I have all the headsets. I do have all the headsets.
Stupid question, really.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So today we are going to talk about the big fight for the VR high-end headset crown, and that fight is going to be carried out between the Bigscreen Beyond. Look at that headset.
That's amazing.
Look at that headset. It is so small. And as you can tell, it was not made for that head here. Looks a bit funny when it's on it, yeah?
Yeah.
But it's made for my head. Oh, this is wow. This is incredible, right? This is the Bigscreen Beyond, a whole new concept of miniature VR headsets, and I believe, honestly speaking, this is the future. Really, this is the future, which has arrived now, kind of. Crazy. Yeah, and this here, brute force. This is the Pimax Crystal, the final hardware of the Pimax Crystal. Super high resolution, nice FOV, QLED, local dimming, all the good stuff. Wow, also really, really nice. And this here, yeah, micro OLED, super nice with high resolution as well. Lighthouse tracking, wow, both are really, really great on their own right, and we're going to talk about them, going to talk about the differences, going to talk about, well, yeah, my feelings and yeah, my experiences with both, with the Bigscreen Beyond, and we're going to talk about Steve experiences with the Crystal, and yeah, the fight that's going on there between the Arrow and the Crystal in Steve's home. Yeah. Which headset is going to make it there? So, this is going to be a really great podcast. Before we start with it, we would like to thank our sponsor of today's show, and that sponsor is Bobo VR. And I'm so happy that they're supporting this podcast because I honestly love their accessories. So what is Bobo VR doing? Bobo VR is doing accessories for VR headsets, especially for the Quest 2. They are doing the best head straps. You know, I really love their head straps. I use them all the time for my Quest 2, and they also have these amazing batteries, those exchangeable batteries. Can I see them here? I want to show them to you. So yeah, here for the Pico, also for the Pico 4, they do this amazing head strap. This is the one that I'm using, and they have these exchangeable batteries, so you can play basically forever. One of those batteries is connected to your headset, like via magnet. Yeah, who doesn't like it? And the other one is charging while you're playing. And then if that battery is flat, you simply exchange everything and you can keep on playing. I love that. So if you are still looking for a great battery solution for your Pico 4 or for your Quest 2, go for it. Bobo VR, highly recommended. Would you agree to that, Steve?
You know, it's funny. I've been looking at that for my PK4. I haven't bought one yet, but yeah, it just seems like it makes the most sense, really, because I love the PK4. I'm a massive fan of that headset.
Same here.
The only thing is the battery life is a bit crap on it compared to
limited
what I'm used to. Yeah. So, sorry, limited, I should say. It's the family-friendly show. I shouldn't say the word crap.
no, you can say crap, and you can say all the funny words.
But
it's okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've noticed about the PK. Although I have noticed, since their latest update to their firmware, the battery life in the Pico is much better. However, the fan, the nice little fan inside is not as powerful. So that's how they've got that extra battery life.
Okay, I got it. Right. Yeah, so absolutely thanks to Bobo VR, and very important, Noidi from the chat, he just said it. I do need to mention like the bing sound, like when you exchange the batteries. Yeah, it makes this super nice, satisfying bing sound. Yeah, it's great.
That's quite cool.
You have to check that out. It is spectacular. So thanks again to Bobo VR. And by the way, if you are a company and you want to get your product in front of the VR community, I believe that the Next Dimension podcast is the show to go for. So if you want to ask me or Steve about this, please do so. You can get in touch with me via my email address, the link down in the description of this video, and then we can talk about it. Yeah, that is good. All right, that's it. So before we get into it, Steve, what have you been up to last week?
Yeah, I'll probably just mention a couple of things I didn't get a chance to last week because it was a very busy show last week. But I thought I would mention something about the Vare Aero, funny enough. Very recently, in the last, I say recently, VR technology is going so fast at the moment and things are moving forward very quickly. But in terms of DCS World, it's recently had an update, which now basically means that DFR is integrated, which is dynamic favorited rendering. And it's been integrated within the native platform of the flight sim. So it's actually within the SDK, and it's made a huge impact to DCS Wheel. I did do a video on it, and I was a bit skeptical, but oh my god, 90 frames per second all day long now in DCS Wheel with the aero. So pretty amazing. Hopefully, can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. My headphones have been a bit strange, but yeah. So yeah, massive difference in frame rate for the aero, and the Crystal should have the same update soon. It's all thanks to the OpenXR toolkit guys. I mean, in fact, it's just one guy. I think it's Matt. He's doing an amazing job, and to be able to add that in to the actual sim underneath, actually within the SDK. I hope one day we'll get that for MSFS as well. So yeah,
so nice.
I'm hearing a pinging in my headphones. I think it's
it's going to be flat very soon. Then I have the same headphones, as you know. So
no, I think it's because I've got the motion rig on still. I forgot to switch it off. I've just been for a flight, so let me just do that now.
Yeah. You're still in the aircraft right now, as I can tell.
Yeah,
it's cool. Then you can do a show while in the aircraft.
Yeah, imagine that. That'd be quite cool. That'd be a great idea.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I mean, I know that you are indeed flying in real life as well, right?
Yeah, when I can, absolutely. Yeah, I don't fly as much as I'd love to. As much as I'd just fly every day if I could in real life. But no, it is great fun. I'm very lucky that I can do that every now and then.
That is really cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Very good. Yeah. Is that everything that you did?
No, lots of things.
Okay.
But in fact, talking of the motion rig, that is something that has been quite a focus on the channel recently, which is quite funny, really, because obviously it's, my channel is VR related, but motion rigs seem to be that next step when it comes to immersion without sounding corny.
Right.
You know that feeling. Yeah, when you've experienced VR for the first time, as we all have here, it's kind of like that again when you experience motion that is, just that feeling of being inside the cockpit. And when you're in VR moving around, it's just unbelievable. In fact, I did try a motion rig, obviously just using a monitor first of all, and it was great fun. You have a bit of a laugh, but it's not until you put a VR headset on, and then you sort of have that motion. Oh, my cup of tea's arrived. Thank you. It really makes a huge difference. It really does. It's fantastic. So I've been learning lots and lots about motion rigs and how they work and how the software, sort of interacts with the sim. And recently I've come across a thing called motion compensation, which is something everyone needs when you've got a VR headset on, because if you imagine it, the VR headset doesn't know that you're moving with the motion rig. It just thinks you're probably doing it yourself, and you're kind of all over the place. So there needs to be a sensor attached to the rig itself. And I've been trying that out. So what that means is I can do aerobatics, I can do all sorts of things. And I'm always sort of central within the cockpit. I don't move around, which makes a huge difference to the whole immersion, without a doubt.
Yeah, nice. So you need a, what do you need? Like a tracker or a controller is good enough? Or what will you need? What would you use for that?
Yeah, it's basically a little device called a WIT motion sensor. You buy it off Amazon. It's about £30, and then you attach it to your rig.
Okay, cool.
And then basically it knows then to sort of send the signal. It's very clever. I don't know. I'm not going to even try and attempt to understand how it works, but it works, and it works really, really well. Yeah, very cool.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's nice. Man, I still got a question about the first topic that you mentioned. Now it comes to my mind. You were talking about DFR, and I was wondering, you said it's all made by OpenXR, right? So would that mean that once the Crystal has the eye tracking implemented, how it works, it will automatically work with the Crystal as well, the DFR in Microsoft Flight Simulator?
No, it has to then be implemented with the Pimax XR runtime. So I think that's what they're doing now, because at the moment it's specific to the headset's runtime, I think.
Okay.
So I mean, I have tried it in DCS World, and I've got a video out tomorrow of DCS, because I've had so many comments saying, Steve, come on, I want to see DCS with the Crystal. So I have done it, I promise you. It took me ages to do it though. I had all sorts of technical problems with recording VR. It's a nightmare, but it is out now, so it's all ready to go. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, that the the eye tracking now works with the Crystal. It works with mine. It should work with yours, Seb, since it's the retail version.
Yeah, right.
Once that's been implemented, it's just a case of installing a bit of software, and then suddenly your frames are going to shoot up from say 50 to 90 frames per second.
Yeah,
It's
that is
amazing.
That is so cool. I'm looking forward to that for the Crystal as well. Nice. Yeah, it's good. So eye tracking makes lots of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've already seen it sort of with, like, obviously MSFS, where you can switch on eye tracking in the OpenXR toolkit, but that's not really native solution to it. It's not really part of the sim, and that's why you get those extra frames, because it's properly integrated into it. I can't believe the difference it makes. You don't even notice it. That's the amazing thing.
Yeah,
I think it's probably once or twice I've noticed it in the menu. You kind of in your peripheral vision, you notice it's a bit fuzzy, but when you're actually inside the sim, it's quite incredible, and it makes me realize what we really want in terms of performance for VR. And when you reach the native frames of the headset, and you don't need motion reprojection and all that kind of thing, it makes such a difference. It's so smooth. It's really nice and very comfortable as well. You can spend a lot longer in VR because you don't have those issues with performance and things. So yeah, it's cool.
Nice, cool, great. Yeah, what else did you do? Anything
So
more?
funny.
You did lots of videos.
Guys,
yeah,
you've
I
no
was always
idea.
looking like, oh, another video.
You've
Okay,
no
he's
idea.
shooting out another video.
I'm trying to talk here, but my computer is shouting at me. I don't know why it's doing that. So I'm trying to ignore it, but it's very difficult. I've got some sort of USB device. Can you just give me 2 seconds, guys,
Yeah,
and I'll be
okay.
back in a minute. Just talk
No
amongst
problem.
yourselves for a minute.
Yeah, I can talk about. Yeah, look at this. Like my regular camera overheated again, so I'm on this other camera. Who cares?
See? Technical problems.
Yeah, we experienced them. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, let me very quickly tell you guys about. Here you are about my week. So yeah, honestly, it is just about the Bigscreen Beyond. Look at how small that is. It's unbelievable. It's still like, wow. It's marvelous. So small and so nice. Incredible. So I made this unboxing video of the Bigscreen Beyond, and also including my first impressions. And yeah, that video was good. It was very nice, I think. So that, of course, and then I have just recently received this year the Pimax Crystal, right? The final production unit of the Pimax Crystal, the headset that you also going to get the same if you bought it or if you pre-ordered it. So I was busy with that, right? Also doing the unboxing, and yesterday you could watch the unboxing, and yeah, today I also already made 2 videos that I will publish next week or so, or in the coming days. Yeah, so I've been really busy with hardware, and yeah, you guys know that I love doing all these hardware comparisons. And I can tell you, it is going to be a tough fight between the two. It looks so unequal, this fight, right? Like, wow, this is so huge and stuff, and this is so small. But each of the headsets does have their own pros and cons. So yeah, that's why I'm excited about today's podcast and in general about this incredible topic.
It kind of feels a bit like the Pimax Crystal is the pinnacle of where we've come from. It's like where the real top.
Good point.
Sort of the best we have got to this point in terms of the hardware that we've had, in terms of large VR headsets and everything. And then the Beyond is the start of a new
something
direction.
New. Agreed.
Yeah,
I totally agree, because I really think, okay, this is the future. There's no question about it. Right? It looks even like ridiculous in A/B comparison, right? If you see them next to each other. Look at this. It's
hilarious.
It's honestly, it's hilarious. True. Well, let me make that a bit bigger just to show them. Like,
it's a bit unfair to the Crystal though, because
it is.
Any headset would look huge. It just so happens that is a big headset anyway.
You're right. So yeah, it is, without a doubt. It's the start of something new. Oh, look at it. This also looks nice. We're next to each other.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, wow, I'm shining so bright here. Look at this. Like a diamond. Yeah, okay. So it's an insane size comparison, says Jonas. Totally agree to that. Yeah. So it was about hardware my week, which is always a good thing. All right, but now let's start with today's show. And before we get to the hardware, let's talk about software. Let's talk about the Meta
Yeah.
Quest Gaming Showcase. So, before we do that, why don't we just have a look at the little trailer that they have put out there? Here it is, Gaming Showcase, Meta Quest Gaming Showcase. It is going to happen June 1st, so quite soon. And here we go. I think you don't have audio here, but it's okay. There's not so much audio. Ooh,
June the 1st.
June 1st, yeah. So that is the little trailer.
They spent a lot of time on that, didn't they? They really did. I can tell.
Say again?
They spent a lot of time on that trailer. Just amazing.
Yeah, they did. And it seems like they're teasing something. It seems like there's going to be an Asgard's Wrath game on the Meta Quest, right? This the helmet that you could see there, it kind of fits into that universe, and it would make sense to see like an Asgard's Wrath game because on the Quest, well, you don't have any kind of this kind of role-playing game to really get into. And well, people have speculated about an Asgard's Wrath game for the Quest 2, right? So yeah, it might make sense. It might make sense. And Asgard's Wrath has been an amazing game for the Rift. Did you try that, Steve?
I have. In fact, for
Oh,
some reason, it appeared in my Oculus or Meta game library once. I think some people got it for free somehow.
uh-huh.
And so I do have it. I have tried it. Yeah, it's a fantastic game. It really is. In fact, I've been meaning to play it all the way through for how long, but I haven't managed it yet. But
Yeah.
I do wonder though, it couldn't be anything Assassin's Creed related, could it?
Also,
Because
yeah, Assassin's
I
Creed. Yeah. Mhm.
that would blow my mind. Literally, I would be so excited by that. At the moment, I'm actually playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is a flat game. Oh my
Oh
god!
no!
But yeah, I'm playing that, really enjoying it. Like 60, 70 hours into it, and not even
Wow.
close to finishing. That's the kind of game I want to see in VR. That we haven't had that yet. I totally understand that, especially on a closed platform or a very limited sort of device like the Quest, where performance is everything. You can't really have massive open worlds or anything, but I don't know. I think they still could achieve it with some clever engineering. I mean, look at Red Matter 2, what that looked like on
Yeah.
the Pico and Quest. Actually, it looked amazing, and that was a totally standalone thing, and it looked amazing, and it had quite large sections in it. So I think it is possible for something like this to come. And I've been waiting for some really proper good AAA titles. In fact, at the moment, my Quest 2, all it's doing is playing walkabout mini golf. That's all I use it for every
But that's
Thursday night.
that's pretty
That's
nice
it.
though. Walkabout mini golf,
Oh, it's the
right?
best game ever.
It's
Literally,
yeah.
it's amazing. I
So
love it. But
if this is your walkabout mini golf machine, yeah, why
it
not?
is.
It's
Yeah, but it's sad though, isn't it? That it's just been
yeah.
relegated to that. It can do more,
It
and the
could.
Pico as well.
Right.
But
Yeah. About large games that could get ported to it. Well, Medal of Honor, can you remember? This also
yes,
got ported to the Quest 2 and it did work.
I
So
think that's true.
I believe something could be done. What about Asgard's Wrath itself? That would be a surprise, right? If we would see Asgard's Wrath. Asgard's Wrath. My English is not perfect.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
If that would come to the Quest 2, that would be pretty fantastic, right?
It
Yeah.
would. Yeah, it would. It's yeah, I can't say too much about it because I don't remember much of it, but I seem to remember the start when you're looking over is it a ship or something out to sea, and like the scale of it, even though you kind
Yeah.
of feel massive, it's just a very high production game, if I
It's
remember, and I was very
exactly, and
impressed with it.
it looked really great actually.
Yeah, and just the
So
physics, that the sword and everything, it just
yeah,
felt good. It felt very satisfying.
it was well
So
done. It
yeah,
was
yeah.
really well done. So yeah, that would be cool if we would see something or Assassin's Creed for sure. They had been working on a game and it should come out anytime now. actually, I do believe they could have this kind of telling us all about this game. So could be exciting. I hope they show us some huge names to draw more non-flat flat gamers into this VR ecosystem, right? Into VR. That would be cool. Um, what I'm still missing is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It is so
Yes,
strange.
definitely.
It's like, they did tell us about it. I believe it was in 2021 they told us about it. But since then, we haven't heard anything from the game,
Yeah, it's quite
right?
strange.
Because this game, it would really have the power to make people want to get into virtual reality. We already know it's great, but we need those big names to draw in those people who don't know about, I don't know, Walkabout Mini Golf or Astrobot or Beat Saber. So yeah, give us Grand Theft Auto 5.
I just wonder,
No,
there
not
must
5.
be,
Grand Theft Auto
yeah,
San
yeah,
Andreas.
yeah, that's the one. I just wonder, why is it we've probably not heard much about it, because it must be such a real tricky sort of engineering nightmare to get a game like that into a mobile chip, because you're not only drawing massive worlds, but you're going to be to really get the feel of a GTA game, it's got to have lots of things going on, lots of AI, cars, and everything. Large viewing distances. How are they going to do that on a XR2 chipset? I've no idea.
I
So
have
I don't
no
know.
idea either.
I wonder whether they're just waiting for maybe the Quest 3, perhaps as a sort of AAA game for that headset. I can see that being pushed to the next generation, whether it's the XR2 chipset Gen 2, whatever it's going to be next, just to give it that extra bit of power.
Honestly speaking, this would be like the best reason to get the Quest 3.
Yes, I think so. I would.
Yeah,
it would work for me.
Honestly speaking, I believe that everyone who's watching this podcast right now is going to buy a Quest 3. Right. Anyways,
Really?
the people who are watching this podcast, they are VR enthusiasts. Come on, they totally will buy the Quest 3. Like, people who are watching this right now, who is not going to buy the Quest 3, say, I'm not going to buy the Quest 3. Yeah, I can't imagine that somebody's not going to get the Quest 3.
Well, you remember, Seb, when in fact, I remember texting you about it, and I wasn't sure whether to get the Quest 2, and I was very, very undecided. But this time, I already know I'm going to buy a Quest 3. I am, definitely, yeah. Because if it's going to be anywhere close to the Pico 4, it'll be better than the Pico 4.
Hopefully,
I think it will.
I mean, the Pico 4 is already so good, and was like a really. It's still amazing tech, right? They're so much better than the Quest 2. And D-Man just says, I don't buy from Meta. So yes, you're right. There might be some people who are not going to buy it because Meta. Right. But lots of people are going to buy the Quest 3. And I believe if they say, San Andreas, GTA San Andreas, it is going to come out, but it's only going to come out on the Quest 3. I don't even think that Quest 2 owners would be so angry. Or do you think like Quest 2 owners would say like, oh no, why don't you do this on the Quest 2?
I would understand it, because a game like GTA would need extra horsepower from a mobile chip. I think they're probably struggling to get it on the Quest 2 and running an acceptable frame rate, or at least an acceptable experience, even without having to take the draw distance down to the point where it's just a very naff kind of experience in that sort of game. I don't know, but for me it kind of would work, but I would be a little bit peed off, because I think Quest 2 owners have had a bit of a rough time with software and games in general. I think we were promised a lot more than this. Like, apart from sort of the little mini games and sort of the rhythm games, there's so many of those, which many people love. I'm not a fan of personally. We haven't really had a real proper AAA game for a long time, and
long.
Yeah, it's hurting now, especially for Quest owners, I think.
Right. I totally agree. Like the last big thing was Resident Evil 4, and that came out in I think in October 21. So it's like a long time ago
Wow.
already, and since then
Wow.
there has been nothing like huge, right? Obviously there's games like every week, but like the huge ones, like this one, no. And I didn't even play it because I'm you know I don't like horror.
Oh, it's
Horror.
amazing, Seb. You've got to play that game. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
okay,
It's
damn.
brilliant. I'm not a horror fan, and I must admit there's some bits on it. Even though it's a mobile chip again, in the graphics, it doesn't matter. You're in VR,
But
and
yeah,
that
I
monster's
know,
coming
I
towards you,
know,
and you know
yeah.
it.
And Resident Evil 4 is even still acceptable for me. I played it when I was young on the GameCube, you know. So yeah, it is okay. That probably I could play it again. Anyways, so we need a big game, and yeah, hopefully we're going to hear something from the studios that Meta bought. They bought so many studios, and they must be working away secretly, and probably on 1st June we're going to hear all about it. Like Echo VR, that sports game that they canceled, right, or that they're going to cancel, that would get some replacement game, I believe, right? So there will be some cool multiplayer game that they will tell us about. So yeah, so I'm kind of excited about the showcase. I truly hope for GTA San Andreas that this comes out. I would be happy if it comes sooner than later, even if it comes to Quest 2. Lots of people would be happy about it, obviously, right? But I would also understand if it only comes on Quest 3. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I feel nervous about this gaming showcase because the last few
they were
Meta
bad, right?
shows have
Yeah,
been awful. They
have been
really
bad.
have.
Yeah,
I
you're
just
right.
please let's not use the word metaverse in this one. Let's
No,
just focus on games for God's sake.
yeah, I think they got it now. I've recently read some news where they say like, okay, Mark Zuckerberg and Meta, they have understood now that this whole metaverse thing is not going to be realized within the next few years, and that actually they should and want to focus back on gaming, which would make so much sense.
Of course, because
right?
That's what's going to drive the core VR user base. You know, the
Yeah.
metaverse will come naturally after all of this, but we've got to focus on now, not 10 years in the future. That's great that they're thinking of that, and hopefully it'll work out and be great. And we'll all be doing our shopping, you know, in VR and all that. But at the end of the day, that doesn't excite me. I want to see full fat AAA games on the Quest. You know, even if it's not PC VR, at least find ways to be able to bring it to a wider audience. I don't care if the graphics aren't amazing. I've got Sims for that, you know, it doesn't matter, but just something that is really a bit of meat on the bone. You can really enjoy it. We're hugely missing out on that, and VR is, as I say, is hurting because of it at the moment. We need software. We've got all these wonderful headsets coming out, but no actual games that, you know, apart from horror games. What is it about horror games in VR? We've got loads of them, which that's fantastic if that's what you're into, but I don't know. Half-Life Alyx and Resident Evil 4 is enough for me, personally.
I still have. I recently bought Resident Evil 8 for the PSVR 2 because I saw it in the store for 25 euros, and I thought, you know what, I just buy it. But it's still like unopened at my home. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to open that DVD or the Blu-ray. Oh, damn. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. Probably I should just have a look into it for 10 minutes or so. Anyway,
you really should. If you must live stream something like this.
Yeah, I know.
It'd be so funny.
Yeah, that's for sure for you guys.
Yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah, I know.
Just I don't know why, it's just entertaining.
Oh wow. Oh well. Yeah. Okay. So that is the Meta Showcase going to happen on June 1st. So a couple of days before the big Apple WWDC, the Worldwide Developers Conference, where they will hopefully finally show the Apple XR, the Apple headset, the Apple reality glasses, how they are called, supposedly called. So that's going to be fine. Man, so what are your thoughts about Quest 3? Like, how excited are you on a scale from 1 to 10 about Quest 3?
Well, this might surprise people, actually, because I know I'm all about high-end VR, but I am really excited about the Quest 3, and unless it is a proper failure when it comes to specifications when it gets announced, which I don't think it will be, I will be buying one because I'm kind of ready to replace my Quest 2 now, and I've really enjoyed that headset. It's a good headset. Yeah,
Yeah, really. Yeah.
I never expected to enjoy it as much as I have over the time I've had it. And yeah, I'm a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 8, 9.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
intrigued to see what they're going to
Okay.
come up with.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Same here. Same here. I'm really looking forward to that. I believe that every new standalone headset will push this forward. So recently, I had been to a very cool event from Pico in Berlin, where they showed us some new stuff, and we met the Breachers developers, which was incredible. We could ask the Breachers developers anything that we wanted. So hi, Peter, by the way, if you're watching this, it was cool, and I was very interested in the future of VR, of course, right? Because I'm working in VR. So my thought was, what is going to be first? Like right now, the developers of these games, they are kind of limited by the XR2 chipset, right? And I was wondering, what is going to happen first? Will the mobile chips get better first, or will Cloud XR be there first? As in that you don't have to worry about your resources. Everything simply comes from the cloud, and you simply have a headset like the Quest 2 or like the Quest 3 to play from the cloud. What is going to be first? In which direction is it going to go? And the lead developer of Breachers, Peter, he was absolutely sure that it's going to be mobile chips first, who are going to, yeah, help us get amazing VR. I mean, so it's going to be earlier than cloud streaming and PC VR. Nobody is actually interested in this in that anymore. So I also have high hopes of the Quest 3 with the new chipset. I will definitely buy it, no question about it. And I'm excited to see what kind of games will be possible. Probably lots of the games that we enjoy now in PC VR, like Half-Life Alyx, could probably work in a nice way on a new chip. So, yeah. Bring it on, Meta.
Yeah,
Bring it on.
One thing I forgot to mention, actually, a big reason why I'm really excited for the Quest 3 is because I believe that Meta make the best lenses when it comes to...
they do. Yeah,
well,
the pancake lenses are great.
Pancake lenses on the Quest Pro are absolutely sensational.
I totally agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Because probably many people don't know, but I have actually tried a Quest Pro. I haven't really mentioned it on my channel, really. I couldn't be bothered, but I should have made a video, really. But yeah, I was really super impressed with the lenses on that thing. Very, very clear, way better than the Pico. And the Pico is good, but no, the Quest Pro's lenses. If they can add that technology into the Quest 3, then that alone is exciting for me.
Yeah, they will totally use those lenses, right? They have developed it. They have developed them not only for the Quest Pro, obviously. So I'm quite sure that we're going to see the same lens in the Quest 3. Wow, and that means it's going to be great. I have truly high hopes for the Quest 3. Nice. So we will know more about all the stuff, about all the games. Yeah, come June 1st, when we hear about the Meta Quest Gaming Showcase. Wow, I will be in the United States of America at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, I will be not far away from Meta, actually, because I will be at AWE, Augmented World Expo. Right, to cover it with MRTV. So cool. Looking forward to that. Yeah, if anybody out there is going to attend AWE, oh my God, my English today, AWE, then AWE, if you're going to be at AWE, then we can meet there. That would be cool. That would be great. Okay, so that was that topic. And now, finally, we can talk about hardware. And before we get to the Crystal, let's talk about this here. This
look at that thing.
Is a beauty.
Amazing.
Let me make this. Let me show you that in all its glory here. This is quite crazy,
it looks
right?
So cool.
It is. It looks really incredibly cool. The design, they have nailed it, in my opinion. Check this out. We're looking at the Bigscreen Beyond for all of you who listen to this as an audio podcast. So as you can tell, it is unbelievably sleek. You know, the form factor is so small, and they have put so much technology into this headset. Wow. Again, congrats to the Big Screen team. What you've achieved here is truly, truly amazing. So, for all the listeners and for all the people who don't know yet what is the Big Screen Beyond, it's the first VR headset from Big Screen. And Big Screen is actually a company, a software VR company. And they do an app where you can watch movies on a big screen. You can have a social viewing experiences in rooms that you share with others. You can watch TV. Yeah, you can watch movies. You can pay for movies. It is an amazing app. If you haven't tried out a Big Screen yet, absolutely do that. Now, this first headset is a high-end headset. They simply went out and said, you know what? Let's make a VR headset. Let's make a super high-end headset, like the best headset that they could think of. And this is the first version of it. It's called Bigscreen Beyond. And what's special about it? Well, first of all, it is super small, as you can tell. It uses micro OLED displays, very high resolution, 2560 by 2560 pixels per eye. We have pancake lenses. Let me show them to you as well. They look like something like this.
Wow. They look very similar to the Apara lenses in terms of their...
Oh, indeed. In terms of the size, right? They look quite small, right? But actually, they are better than the Apara lenses, which is a good thing.
I hope they are.
The Apara, they had lots of problems with the brightness and with some color shifts. So, yeah. So, pancake lenses. And what is super, super exciting and interesting this is the face gasket that I'm showing you right now. And this face gasket, it was made for me. Indeed. So every single face gasket is made for the owner. And how does it work? Before they send it out to me, they sent me a link, and I had to open that link in an iPhone. And I don't have an iPhone. Yeah, I had to borrow one from my wife, and then I clicked on that link, and then an app started. And in this app, I had to scan my face, and that face scan was sent to them. And then, based on my face, they made this rubbery gasket, which fits exactly. Let me show you that. It fits exactly on my face. It's kind of a miracle. Okay.
It's funny. I think it's the first headset that I've ever known where you look cool in VR.
Yeah, you're right.
You do.
Like with this, you really look cool in VR. Wow, it's pretty amazing. Let me get rid of this here and this here, and let me put it on.
I can say anything about.
Let's see how cool I can look.
Oh
now.
Yeah, with the cap as well. Brilliant.
Wait, I don't hear you yet. I don't hear you. Wait.
We can say anything about Seb now, guys.
Yeah, you can.
It's too late.
So now, how is it? How is it? Is it funny?
Do you know what? Even with looking as ridiculous as you do now, you still look cool. You still look cool with it. I don't think it's possible not to look cool with that headset.
Yeah, right?
That's a good test. That should be part of your test from now on. Yeah, the cool factor of sort of how it looks when you're got it on your head.
I'm back now. So that was interesting. So it simply fits like a glove, you know. And if you're wondering what glasses wearers do, let me try to show you that. Wait a moment. So actually, can you see that? If you wear glasses, you can get lens inserts. And actually, I have lens insert on right now. These are lens inserts. Can you see that?
Oh, wow.
Here, check this out. They are magnetically attached.
That's really, I love that. Is that actually from a company? Sorry, I didn't catch that bit you said.
It's from them. It's from them.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I told them my prescription.
That's brilliant.
And you know, they fit there magnetically.
And the IPD is measured. Well, is it related to the facial gasket as well, or is that something more inside the headset?
Wait a moment. Let me put this back. So the IPD, actually, they have something like 15 different base units with different IPDs.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of work there for them to do that. But
here you can see it again. So this is like a magnet, which is, I think they really have thought about everything. Even with these lenses for people who wear glasses, the prescription lenses, everything is truly, truly well thought through. It's pretty amazing. So for the IPD, they have they have 15 base units, like shoe sizes, basically. So this is the 64 millimeters base unit for my IPD. And should I ever want to sell it, I can sell it. I can sell it. I can. Yes, I can. because well, there's going to be other people who also have 64 millimeters, and they will want to have this shoe size of base unit, right? And then obviously they will need to print themselves one of those, which are made for their face, and then they're good to go. Yeah. So I read this in the comment section. People said like, "Oh no, I cannot buy it. I cannot sell it afterwards." Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can sell it. It's good that you're watching the Next Dimension podcast or listening to it, because now you know things watching this podcast. Yeah, so wow, really incredible. It has lighthouse sensors built in, so it also comes with the best tracking that's out there, and like super high resolution, as I said. And 90 hertz refresh rate. Actually, 75 hertz if you want to use the complete full resolution, but they're using for 90 hertz. They are saying that it's a visually lossless compression, and I would agree with that actually. Also with 90 hertz,
Really?
the picture quality is really good, amazing, very enjoyable, and the form factor is of course the best.
So it's 27 ppd, isn't it? If I remember, or is it less than that?
Something like
20,
this. It's very good. It's really
that's good.
It's a really, really nice picture quality. The colors are fantastic because of the micro OLED, and the colors and the blacks. Obviously, they are even better than on the Crystal, right? Because it's real blacks, like no light. And you also won't have any problems like a blooming or something. So, yeah, color-wise, this is incredible. The whole thing is going to set you back $999 in the US, and in the UK it's 1,149 pounds, and in Germany and in the rest of Europe it's 1,369 euros. Man, I'm so knowledgeable about the price.
I'm impressed. Yeah, that wasn't scripted or anything.
No,
straight off the bat there.
It's just it's right off the bat. So yeah, so this is these are the basic specs of this year of the Bigscreen Beyond. Truly like it. Truly like it. They absolutely are up to something here, the Bigscreen guys. And I did sometimes hear in the comments, or I read in the comment section like, "Oh, this is so expensive." No, I really don't think it is so expensive for what you get here, because you are getting a high-end VR headset that is tailor-made for you. Like okay, this is like a really good price, and this even is like an enthusiast device. So they cannot make this in mass production. They cannot make this in 100,000s, right? So if you take into consideration that they are not producing in mass production, I believe $999 is like a good price, and especially if you think that this is for this kind of specialist hobby like we have, right? VR. Like in other hobbies, again, I must say this again and again, in other hobbies, people spend way more money than we do. People who like cars, for example, or who like car tuning, or people who like home theater, who are buying these projectors for thousands and thousands of euros. And then Bigscreen comes, they make something incredible like this, the
and
size.
It's so niche.
900.
They're going to need.
It's so niche, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to need to be a lot more expensive than in mainstream headsets because they're not going to sell so many. So it's going to be
Yeah,
such a
but
niche
it's
product.
not even so much more expensive with $999. You know, so I absolutely don't agree with the notion that this is so expensive. I really don't think so. So yes, this is not mass market. This is not your Quest 2, right? It makes sense. So yeah, I understand this is not for the mass market, but for the people who it's made for the real crazy VR enthusiast, I believe $999 is a steal.
I agree. I think
Right?
yeah.
What do you think?
Well, let's face it, any hobby, unless you're collecting stamps, is going to be really expensive. And even collecting stamps is probably really expensive. If you want a certain stamp that's really, really difficult to get and you want to buy it and you realize it's $1,000, you know. So, all hobbies are expensive, of course, and especially when it comes to high-end technology as well, because what you're really paying for there is the start of a new breed of VR headset. It's completely different from anything we've seen before. I think, well, obviously we've seen it from Apara, but that didn't work out. So let's just scrap that idea. This is actually a feasible working prototype at the moment. That's going to be something that's going to be on sale. And yeah, I find it intriguing. I'm concerned of a few things though about the lens design that you did mention on your review. First impressions.
Yeah, right.
In terms of the sweet spot. Yeah, because of course it's a lot smaller lenses, so it makes sense. The smaller the lens, the smaller the sweet spot. Even though they are pancake lenses, there is a point, isn't there, to in which they will fade off, just like in the Pico. So if they're really tiny like that, I did notice that. I don't want to keep mentioning the Apara because obviously it's a completely different headset. But in terms of the micro OLED pancake design, I did notice even with that headset that the sweet spot was really good. But as soon as it started fading, that was it. It was blurry. Almost like it is almost like Fresnel, but like a really wide sweet spot. So
you know why I didn't really have any problems with it here, because it just perfectly sits on my face. You know, I'm in the sweet spot every time I put this on, because this is just made exactly in my face shape. I cannot wear this in the wrong way. You know, I will always be in the sweet spot. I got the exact right IPD for me. Right? I got exactly the right face shape. So when I put this on, I am in the sweet spot. So sweet spot wise, I didn't even have any problems. But as I told you guys in my first hands-on video, I do see some problems with the prototype. You know, this is a prototype. Again, everything that I say, any mean thing I say about this, it's about the prototype. So, and they did tell me, they were hinting at that the final model, the final Bigscreen Beyond, it will actually improve on what I have here. So this is an idea of what they will show us. But I will discuss this idea, this prototype. So yeah, as I said in my video, the edge stretch clarity is not great. So if I would look to the left and right with my eyes, yeah, the quality degrades quite a bit. And this is it's okay probably. I mean, like I don't really move my eyes so much in VR. Probably most of the time I look straight. But some people like to do that, right? But here, what also plays into that is that the FOV is smaller than other headsets. So for me, for my eyes, I get like a little bit less than the Quest 2. And obviously, especially if you come from headsets that have a wider FOV, right? If you come from the Crystal, for example, or the Pico 4, and I'm normally in the Pico 4, which has like a super nice FOV, then it's like painfully obvious. You know? Then it's kind of obvious. So yeah, if it was not for that, wow, this would totally be my headset, I believe.
It's interesting. I've learned, you know, being a VR YouTuber for a lot of years now, that field of view is such an important thing, isn't it, for most people? Like for me, it's always been about clarity and image quality first, but field of view is such a big deal, and I pardon the pun, and you know it is important. And yeah, I think you can't expect a headset that small to have you know, a huge field of view. I think people are expecting too much, really, especially at this early stage with this form factor. We will get there, But I get the impression that that trade-off is probably worth it when it's how it feels on the head, when you can just put it on almost like a pair of glasses. That I imagine that would just negate that, feeling of, just because I'd imagine it's almost like you're not wearing a VR headset in a way. Like, you kind of forget that you're in the VR world with this massive device, so it's I think it's intriguing from that point of view. I'm looking forward to trying it eventually, because they are going to send me one.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Anyway, it's still on the cards.
Yeah.
Oh, my beer's arrived. Thank you very much.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So yeah, you should totally get one. Dear Bigscreen, if you're watching this podcast, please consider VR Flight Sim Guy to check it out.
Please do.
Yeah, please do. So you know what? But honestly speaking, I do want to get more into this prototype. I do want to use it way more. So I did give you the first impressions, right? I'm used to bigger FOVs from the Pico and from the Crystal. So for me, it was like painfully obvious. But I do believe that you can get used to it. Like the other stuff is so good. Like wearing it, it just feels so right. It just feels, it was made for you, and it was made for you. And it's just so light and nice, and the colors are so good, and the resolution also looks so nice. So I do want to get more into it. And I did already feel like playing it, even with a small FOV, you can get back into it. You also can feel immersed. I did play Squadrons with it. Star Wars Squadrons.
Yes.
And it was a great experience, even though on the right and left there's black, right? Because the FOV, but well, in space anyways, it's going to be black. But so I do want to give this prototype more playing time. But what I see here, this is truly the beginning of something new. This is truly the beginning of a new generation of VR headsets. And I think you put it really, really very well there in our talk before. You said, like, okay, the Crystal, this is probably the pinnacle of the headsets that came until now.
Yeah.
Like we have the HTC Vive Pros and the Pimax 5K Plus, 8KX, all these headsets. And this is probably the pinnacle of what can be done with this standard headset, right? And this is something new. This is the start of something new. And they're kind of fighting right now. So it really depends on what you're looking for.
It's like, like seeing a V8 like Mustang and then an electric car.
Probably.
It's like a start of a new generation.
Exactly. This is like the brute force.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
this is like the elegant new thing that comes along. Still not perfect, right? But you can see the future here.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And interestingly, there is a rumor going around on the interwebs that one of the big screen developers has mentioned that the field of view is going to be much improved with the final unit, according to, as I say, people on the internet. So I don't know if that's true or not, but
okay. I have a problem now with your audio. Can the other people in the chat also hear Steve not very well? Steve, I think now it's good again.
Okay, that's strange. Maybe I'm being scrambled by Bigscreen for saying what I just said. I don't know. It's breaking up. Okay, thanks, guys. There is something weird going on with these headphones today. But
but now it works fine.
There is a rumor going around that one of the big screen developers have mentioned that the field of view might actually be improved for the final unit as well. So it's very much a prototype phase. So I don't know how they would improve on that, whether it's to do with more than
new
distortion
lenses,
profile,
probably other lenses.
Would they do that at this next stage?
I've also heard about that rumor.
Okay.
So who knows? Who knows? Who knows? You should not write them off just now. Yeah, so who knows what's going to happen? Probably we're going to hear something from them soon.
Yeah, something like they're mentioning something like, better than a Quest 2, better than a G2, perhaps 105 degrees.
That would be great. But your audio is now breaking up again. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah.
Okay. I might switch.
Do you have another? Okay, please do.
Give us a second.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, I heard those rumors too, and actually I did hear from from Bigscreen directly that they are working on something that they didn't disclose further. And this might not be the last word here. The prototype that we have, super exciting. Wow, I'm looking forward to get more into it, to really put in hours and hours just to get a feel for that. Because this is actually made for my face, and it fits like a glove. However, I still need to find out how will I like that in super long sessions, this kind of style. Because it does touch your face. Now, what is different about? Let me get a bit bigger, as long as Steve's not around. So, like with the standard headsets, like the Crystal, they touch you here, right here, and here is the touch points. Now with the Bigscreen Beyond, the touch points are more like here, like around your eyes, like as if you would be wearing some kind of swimming glasses, like for diving. So they're touching here. It is a different kind of feeling, and I still have to figure out how do I like it if I wear this for hours and hours at a time, right? Because probably this part here, I could also start to sweat here, and there's absolutely like zero airflow for the eyes, right? So I still also have to find out how good is this for hours and hours. Like the first few minutes, impressive because this was made for you, but still I need to find out how is this on longer sessions, and I will do that. So, hi Norman, thanks again for $5.
Maybe I should use that for some new headphones. Actually, it could be.
Here, now I hear you again.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes. Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah, it might either be my cable or it could even be my internet, because the internet here has been playing up all day. So sorry, guys.
Okay.
But I'm back, so we'll crack on.
Yeah. Okay, so Norman asked, do I see potential for AR by incorporating an XR2 3 via the back strap and using cell cameras? Yeah, for sure. Why not? Absolutely. But that is still in the future. The material is soft rubber. Yeah, the material is soft rubber. So, I was just asking myself, Steve, if this is going to be like comfortable if I play this for hours and hours. This is the question, right? So yes, it is comfortable in the first minutes, and I tried also like half an hour, it was no problem. But how is this going to play out like for hours? Will I sweat
exactly.
there? Will I sweat? Will I? What about the eyes? Not getting any air, right? It's really like these diving glasses, diving goggles.
It almost looks like a vacuum on your face.
Exactly.
So that surely that's going to make you very uncomfortable after a while. But is there a fan inside that you can feel?
No, actually, I did not feel that. It does not look like it either. But anyways, you see, I still have to do like a long-term testing. It's still really, truly only the first impression that I share here with you. So,
It's
Patrick
funny,
says it does not breathe. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the facial interface, it looks. I mean, I'm sure it is very comfortable, because I haven't heard anyone say it isn't. But the facial interface looks rough. It looks quite rough textured. But I guess it is nice and
it is nice. It is. It looks so strange, honestly speaking, right?
It doesn't look finished. Like, it looks strange, but I'm sure when it's on your face, obviously it's molded correctly to your face shape, which makes sense. I'm sure it's fine, but I reckon it would feel quite stuffy after a while.
It could be. So that is something that I will find out in long-term tests, and I will do that, right? So exciting, very exciting headset, and obviously tracking works super nice, and I do believe this is the beginning of something incredible. Let's see about those rumors, if they're true, if they, for the final production units, if they can increase the FOV, if they could make this more than the Quest 2. Wow, this is truly fantastic then. Really, like this was really the only thing that was holding it back a bit, together with the glare. So yes, unfortunately, there's also glare, right? So it is not as bad as with the Crystal. Oh, no, the Crystal doesn't have glare. As with the Index, but it is more than with the Pico 4. So yeah, in high contrast scenes and watching movies, I could see that, and would be better without it. But
Yeah,
the thing is,
that's a bit of a problem, isn't it?
yeah,
Because it's supposed to be for watching movies, so you
yeah,
don't
right.
really want any artifacts.
So I believe that you could have some. They could still work on that with some kind of like coatings, but these coatings would take away from the brightness probably. And well, brightness is already like, yes, not fantastic. Brightness is something like Pico 4, so absolutely fine. I
Okay.
don't think it's dim or no at all. It's totally fine, but it should not be less than it's right now. So therefore, I believe it's going to be tough to add some more coatings to get rid of the glare, because then you would also take away from the brightness, and then you would run into all kind of problems. But who knows? Probably they can still come up with it. I don't know. Everything is just speculation right now. But I am impressed with this, even with this prototype. Therefore, wow, if they can truly make it happen and give us this device with a bit of a bigger FOV, something a bit more than Quest 2, hopefully, yeah, this will find customers for sure. There's no question about it.
Certainly very intriguing, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I would imagine a lot of other companies are going to be watching this closely, the success of this and the interest in this headset, because
Yeah.
I love how they're taking risks with this and doing something that no one else is thinking of in terms of form factor and everything. So, but for me, my first thought is I want the lenses is they've got to be right, and I'm sure it's a huge task for them to produce a lens that has the best sweet spot and completely glare free with that form factor. There's a lot of problems to solve, so I'm intrigued to see how it feels. Yeah,
yeah, really, really interesting. Looking forward to spend more time with it. But this is a great contender in this year's race for favorite VR headset, because simply it is just showing us the future. It's not quite there yet, this prototype, but exciting stuff. Yeah, that's it for Bigscreen Beyond. Now let's talk about the Crystal. We did already talk not yesterday, in the last episode about it, right? About the Pimax Crystal, but at that time I did not yet own this, and this is truly the final Crystal. This is it, the final production unit.
Last one.
No. This is it. The last and final one that will ever be done. And yeah, really, really nice. Last week we heard about Tatiana's bad experiences setting up her pre-production unit. And this week, I must tell you that this honestly has changed. I'm so sad that Tatiana had to go through all these negative experiences, but I can just tell you, I didn't have that. So I know that they fixed lots of that. So probably thanks to us, also with my pre-production unit that I had in Taiwan, that also there was a pain, honestly, to get it running, right? But probably thanks to our help and our hours of frustration, they have managed to really get the bugs out of this. And truly, this was the first time setting up a Pimax headset where everything just worked out like as it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was so nice. And
I liked how you showed it on the video of you switching it on for the first time.
It was,
and it goes bing, and it's like Pimax Crystal. That was it.
It was just like that. It was so cool. And then something that I even didn't show, I cut it out because it would have been too long. It also did a firmware upgrade. Like it did a firmware upgrade, and I was like, sweating.
Yeah.
Because, because before, with firmware upgrades for the Crystal, for my pre-production unit of the Crystal, and for the 8KX, and for all these Pimax headsets, whenever there was some kind of firmware upgrade, it always bricked my device in the past. Always. And then I had to flash some new firmware, or like the Pimax engineers, They had to check it like from a remote desktop. It was always a pain in the ass. So I was like recording my very first session with it. The firmware update came up, and I was like, oh, I was sweating, but it worked. It worked directly out of the box. So wow, I hope that was not just your good luck, and I hope that people who get that now, they're sending it out right now to the first people who pre-ordered this. I hope that they also have the same experience like I did, I'd had, and I think they have done a good job now with the Crystal software. So yes, good. That was really good.
Yeah, can I say as well, even after my little hiccup with it, where mine didn't do what yours did. When you switched yours on and it came up Pimax Crystal, mine was just disconnected constantly. It just wouldn't. It got into a bit of a stuck cycle.
Oh,
but
no.
Once I'd done something in a certain way, like basically taken off the HDMI port and kind of waited 10 seconds and all that. Once that had all been out of the way, I haven't had one single issue with it, and I've been using it a lot. Okay, guys,
Yeah.
I've had it now for 2 weeks. I've used it every day for at least a couple of hours, and it hasn't put a foot wrong so far since that first day.
Yeah.
So whatever that was, yeah. And even the firmware update that I did, and again, I was sweating. I was behind my my motion rig like this. Go, oh god! Yeah. But no, it went fine. No problems at all. So that's a good sign, I think.
Yeah, I also think so. Let's see what the people say who get it now, if we're just lucky now. But I really think I have a good feeling now about it. Also today, just before our show, I made a video about the software where I simply show how simple the software is, right? There's not so many complicated things going on. Just like, okay, there's the shop, there your games, right? And settings. It is pretty nice. Yeah, but there was one thing. I was looking for that switch to turn off the local dimming. I was looking for it.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like I was sending you a message. Yeah, Steve, where do I turn off the local dimming? I cannot find it. Where is it? I was like I was super stressed looking for that because I simply wanted to see the difference, right, between local dimming on and off.
And I was like, yeah, all you do is you do this, and no, that's not how you do it. Hang on a minute, Seb. Give me a second. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was so interesting. Actually, it is like hidden behind a keyboard like shortcut, like you have to control and Q, and then there's going to be like a secret menu where you can do that.
I quite like that though, in a way. It's like secret,
but now hidden. The secret is out.
That's true.
Yeah, but I also mentioned this in my video about the software. Yeah. So the software is nice. The visuals are simply incredible. Like I've said that in my video as well, right? And just before, I was playing a bit, and again, I was just like feeling so good about the visuals. So in the video, I said, okay, these are the best visuals that you can get in VR right now. Period. I totally stand to that. You?
And well, I'm sorry to say this, Seb, but I actually totally agree with you.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it is great.
I was a bit like, damn it, because I wanted the Aero to be better.
Why?
Because I just love it. I've got this connection with it now.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why. I've no idea. There's no reason for me. It's not like I'm paid from Vario or anything like that. There's nothing like that at all. I just have a bit of sentimental value to it. Sentimental nostalgia to it. I just feel
it is great,
connected to it in some way. So I didn't want it to be better, but it was, and it is in terms of the visuals. It really is.
Yeah, like I also had this great feeling about the Aero. Like we were the first two content creators.
Yeah,
right. Who basically covered the Aero, and we told people about it, and it was a fantastic headset. And it still is a great headset. Don't get me wrong, really. Right now, DFR working and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it is still a great headset. So I understand your feelings. But it is good. It is good that something new is here, because the Aero also is not perfect, right? The missing sound, for example, like the light warping. Some things, the FOV, the vertical FOV. So it's good that there's something new around, so Vario can feel motivated to work on the next one. on the Aero 2.
I really hope so. I really hope so. I have my doubts, but I really hope they are working on an Aero 2. I really do.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Right? I think the Aero was successful.
it's nearly been out 2 years, for God's sake. Like in the VR, in any technology, and even VR, which is a bit slower, but at the moment it is going quite quickly in terms of progression. For 2 years to be top dog is an impressive
long
amount of time. It is a long time,
It's
and
already 2 years. I can't believe it.
but I
All
will
of the
say,
pandemic.
yes, I got to say though, Seb, you might disagree with this, but maybe you haven't tried flight sims or anything that's like real wide open spaces. But I do feel that the Aero, for whatever reason, maybe because it's that smaller field of view and maybe just packed pixel density,
the density.
the density. It's the packed density that's done it. It's a new VR term. You probably haven't heard it before.
Density Washington.
In the far distance, it just looks a bit sharper to me. It does. I was thinking, am I going crazy? But it is a bit sharper in the far distance.
That is. I'm curious about this. Like I don't get it. Like honestly, like I know the picture of the Aero and I like it. It's great. But I couldn't agree with like that you feel well. If you feel it sharper, I can't agree or disagree. It's your feeling, right?
It's not sharper. And I'm not saying it's sharper. I'm saying in the real far distance. So say, for instance, look, landing on the carrier, you'll see like the what do you call them? The lights, the pappy lights. I know they're not called that, guys. I'm not much of a combat guy. And you can just see them a bit clearer further out than the Crystal. However, the Crystal looks better in the cockpit. It looks sharper in the cockpit. So I don't know why that is. I'm really nitpicking here, guys. There's not much in it. There isn't not much in it at all.
Yeah, but it's tough to understand it because everything that you see is done by pixels, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
It might be related to resolution or something as well, because I find the resolution of the Crystal extremely high. Yeah. I mean, 35 pixels per degree is high resolution anyway, but it just seems to be incredibly high. Like, and that's the only thing that you do need to do with the Crystal is when you use Microsoft Flight Simulator, and they might have to show you this, Seb, before you do a video on it, like just to bring down that resolution in the override tool. And what I find interesting is that from the native resolution, if you back that off by about 80%, 70%, there's absolutely hardly any, if not, I don't think there's any difference in sharpness.
I totally agree with you, and actually today I sent a message to the Pimax engineers in China, and I asked them, guys, should I keep this at 100% in Steam?
It's like crazy resolution.
Because it gives me like a resolution of 5,000 by 4,000, per eye.
It's mental.
That's like too much, right?
My 4090's like got its tongue out. It's like, I can't do this.
My 3080 is like what? Are you kidding me? So, and then they answered, no. Turn it down to around 80%. That is the right value. Then it's going to be around, I don't know, like 4,000 by 3,000. It's still going to look exactly right, and that is good. That is good enough. So good to know that. And actually, there's also this in Steam VR, when you can choose the super sampling, there's like this little line where it says, okay, it should be around here. That's the right setting. And that is at 78%. So actually...
Right.
Actually, put it on 78%, and then your computer can run. And it still looks amazing.
So much better. Like you're talking of like 25 frames per second in like MSFS or whatever, up to like nearly 50, 60 frames per second. There's a huge difference. Yet the clarity is the same. So I don't know what's going on there. Obviously, it's related to barrel distortion, perhaps, and maybe because it's a new headset, then there's a bug in Steam VR. But even in OpenXR, it's still doing the same thing, actually. So that's interesting, thinking about it. But either way, I mean, it's got a bigger field of view than the Aero.
Yeah,
so
that is a huge thing.
It's going to need more resolution, but much more? Wow.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. By the way, I love the concept. I just got a $5 super chat for a question for you.
I'm just reading it.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
Yeah,
I like it. Maybe
that through
due to the foveated rendering on the Aero that the center is more dense of rendered pixels. Could be that the DFR already makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you don't have that luxury in MSFS, and I've noticed it in that sim as well. That makes sense though in DCS because it's a load sharper because of it. So yeah, that's a good point. But I don't think that's the case in MSFS. And honestly, guys, I'm really nitpicking here. I don't think many people will notice unless you're a bit of a weirdo like me, who spends loads of time flying and looking in VR headsets. But
yeah,
there's a slight difference for me. But
okay. Yeah, well, that's your feeling, and it's good.
The Crystal has a better display than the Aero. Let me be clear on that. You know, let me be crystal clear on saying that the Crystal's clearer than the Aero.
Yeah, it is. The Crystal is clearer than the Aero, and I must honestly tell you guys, like, for me, that fight Aero against Crystal is super clear in favor of the Crystal for me, like super clear. So yeah, for me, that's not even a question. Like, honestly speaking, it's so much better in my opinion, in terms of the clarity, in terms of the FOV. I even like the comfort better because it's hard to get. It's hard to get into the Aero. It is hard to get into it.
I disagree on
that one. Especially with glasses on. It's tough to get into it.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, so and then this has audio. You know, this has good audio. The DMAs are really good, and it's cheaper. So honestly speaking, like for me, the Crystal, it wins hands down. And I would say, like, if tomorrow Vario comes with an Aero 2, and it is just better than the Crystal, I will also say that. So, you know, for me, it's truly not about, okay, I like this company more than the other. For me, it's truly about the headsets. And what I see about the two headsets now is that the Crystal just so easily wins against the Aero. That is my feeling. You know, like I don't say that your feeling is wrong. Obviously, I cannot do that. But I agree with myself if you want. More.
Honestly, no. Right. Well, I've just put a video out, comparing the two headsets.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I went for a flight and thought I'm going to have a chat about this, and realized, wow, this is a big subject. And the video is over half an hour long in the end. In fact, it was way longer than that. I had to cut it down. But yeah, if you think of it bullet point wise, like the Crystal has a better image quality, and it does. And I'm saying that. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's just it's not quite as sharp further out, but it is better overall. It has less chromatic aberration.
It doesn't have distortions and no warping at the edges.
Yeah, exactly. The redshift, there's a very, very minimal redshift in it, which is a problem with the Aero at the moment. That can be sorted out in the OpenXR toolkit again. That piece of software, honestly, does everything. It has, well, not just better audio, it has audio, and actually the DMAS speakers in it, with the latest firmware update that you've just successfully done with that headset.
Yeah, success.
You've got to try it now. So if you haven't tried it yet,
I did. It sounds great.
Crank up. I think that's pretty much on par with the G2 now in terms of audio.
I totally agree. It feels like G2 now.
Yeah, and that I never expected that. When I first tried the DMAS audio solution in the 8KX when it first came out, I was a bit underwhelmed by it. But it's amazing what they've done with software, because now the bass response is much better, the trebles are a lot higher, and you get just an overall a lot of a powerful sound with those speakers. Really impressive. It has inside-out tracking, so it's obviously a lot cheaper. You don't need base stations, and the tracking, generally speaking, is very good. God, it's obviously the colors, the QLED panel, the local dimming,
so boom, boom, boom. It's point after point. Like truly, it truly blows the Aero out of the water, in my opinion.
There are some things that the Aero does better, though.
Okay, tell me.
There's not a lot, but there is a few things it does better. Like, for instance, the build quality.
Yeah, you're right.
I have to mention it.
Yes, you're right. Like, it feels more quality. Also, the sound that the motors make when they move the lenses.
That's everything to me. The sound of the IPD motor.
Right? It is.
It does. It sounds better.
It sounds better. Yeah, it sounds better.
I think software-wise, the Vario base is still the best out there.
And it looks more professional. Totally agrees. Yes, absolutely.
And I'm comparing that to not just Pimax, any headset out there.
You're right. It is super nice. Yeah, professional.
It runs more on your GPU than any other software that I know of, and that means you get better performance. You do get better performance with the Aero, not by a massive amount, but it is there, so it has to be mentioned. And I personally feel the Aero is a bit more comfortable because of the fan that's inside the headset, the active cooling, which keeps you nice and cool, you know, when you're about to crash on the carrier like I did the other day. But anyway.
Okay. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Absolutely. Yeah.
And one more thing I'll mention, and this is the big one, guys. I think this is the biggest one we haven't even mentioned yet. The Aero, you could put that thing on your head and just fly for an entire week. And, you know, you'd never need to go out of VR unless you wanted to
That's
eat.
a good point. That is a good point.
Because no batteries involved. And
right.
I must say it hasn't been too much. In fact, it hasn't been any issue for me so far using the batteries of the Pimax Crystal. But just knowing that, you know, there's a battery there is in the back of your mind. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah,
honestly,
I've already forgotten about it. Like I'm not in VR for 6 hours straight. Really, no.
I am.
Like,
well, I'm not really, not very often, only a few times.
And if you really reach that 6 hour mark and then you get it off for a moment and then you hot swap the batteries, I think that's fine, honestly speaking. But I agree, it would be better without. There's no question about it. But you know what? We are now comparing them in a wired PC VR mode. You know, this even has the potential to get even better once there's virtual desktop in standalone mode. And this will even become a wireless headset. You know, who knows how cool this is going to be? Like, in my opinion, even as a wired headset, this already blows the Aero out of the water. But this could even become wireless. Who knows? Nice.
Yeah, with a WiGig module, better bandwidth, better image quality, wireless. That's kind of cool. I do like that, absolutely. But
yeah.
I will say though, because Taz keeps mentioning this to me in the chat, I will say at this point in time, my favorite headset is still the Aero, only because I've had 1,000 hours use out of it. Okay, and I can't possibly say that the Crystal is my favorite headset after owning it for 2 weeks. I can't do that. It might break next week. I just don't know, do I? And if I say that on a YouTube video, it needs to prove itself now.
I got it. So
that's the only reason.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Okay. So you still need this to prove to you that yes, it is the one.
But
right? So how long do you need? How long do you have to be in this to know it?
Well, I've had a 3-hour session in it now, 3 hours on one battery using the 8KX fiber optic cable. There you are. Which I'm not supposed to do that, apparently. I did it anyway. And the fiber optic cable of the 8KX is, well, any Pimax, it's so light. It just has one USB plugged into your computer. And I've easily managed 3 hours in that on just one battery, which I was actually really impressed with. And every time I go flying, just to confuse everybody even more, I always use a Crystal now. I want to use it more than any other headset. So I just want to use it for a lot longer now. Maybe in a month or so's time, I think, this is the headset. Every time I go flying, it's always this headset. I don't miss the Aero anymore. I don't miss any of the others. I always want to use this. Well, it clearly is the favorite, isn't it? But after 2 weeks,
it looks so nice. Like the visuals are so incredible. Just like think about it, like a big FOV. It's a bit shy of the index, I would say, but it's like a very nice FOV.
Beautiful.
It's perfect edge-to-edge clarity. You know, it has a nice sweet spot. It has nice colors. It has good brightness. It has local dimming for real blacks. I played squadrons with it as well. It's so good. You know, it's so good. And I honestly think that this headset is going to be the most successful Pimax headset ever. Because this is finally a headset that everyone can use. Before, you had this strange optics. Not everybody could use it. You know, some people, they just said, oops, something is wrong. Nope, I cannot do it. But with this, the optics are just standard optics. You don't get a super huge FOV, but you get these optics which are just correct, like optically they're correct. You know, so everyone can use it, and I truly believe that everyone now can use this headset. And once more people try it and rave about it, which will happen for sure, I'm sure this is going to sell like hotcakes, really. So yes, this is expensive, but for the VR enthusiasts, for the simmer, for the flight simmer, and for the race simmer, and for people who simply want to have the best visuals in VR, I truly believe this is the headset.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm getting that conclusion myself, I must admit. And I think what is remarkable is how has Pimax managed to pack that much into a VR headset for that price? I think it's cheap. I do think it's cheap. And I do think that's why the build
Finally,
quality
I
has
agree.
suffered. Yeah. I think the build quality has suffered a little bit because of that. It's not, don't get me wrong, it's fine. It's put together okay. But I would pay another $200 more for like the Switch, the buttons on the top. They just don't. I wish they were better quality. What's going on?
Oh, there was something stuck here, and I just read
You're
it.
unboxing yourself on camera.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a Sebastian unboxing video.
Exactly. Finally, I unboxed myself.
But yeah, it's remarkable what they've done here, and it truly excites me. And I don't want to use the word immersed because I know it's really cliche, but I do feel like that in this headset more because of that field of view and the audio and the way when you put it on, I feel like I'm almost putting a helmet on in a proper like a pilot's helmet or something, and I'm inside the cockpit. It feels quite enclosed. It doesn't. Well, another thing actually about the headset is it feels very cool. After 3 hours of use, it doesn't get hot inside the headset at all, which I'm impressed with. And the binocular overlap as well. That's another thing. Is fantastic. Have we mentioned that yet? I can't remember. But the binocular overlap, again, it's to do with the optics, like you were saying. It just feels very nice on the eyes. I feel even more relaxed in that headset than I do in the Aero. I can tell that my eyes are happier in that than the Aero, and that's amazing.
Happy eyes.
Yeah.
Pimax,
happy eyes.
I agree. It really gives you happy eyes. So yeah, this is going to be the most successful headset that Pimax has ever done, in my opinion. I'm not very excited, honestly speaking, about the tracking, the controller tracking.
Okay.
Have you tried it?
No, I haven't. I haven't even used the controls. So bad in it.
Yeah.
I haven't tried them very much.
It's all right. Yeah, but it's definitely not as good as Quest 2 or Pico 4. So I don't think this is good for people who want to play like Beat Saber on Expert Pro or do these kind of things. No.
Okay.
No. It's the tracking volume is also not so nice. Everything is just okay-ish. It is, acceptable. It's not a deal breaker, so you can play your Half-Life Alyx with it, which is okay. But if you want to play things competitively, I don't think this is the right headset for you in terms of the tracking right now. And I'm talking about firmware, controller firmware version 0.89. I just made a controller review video that's going to come out next week, and people will see it. So yeah, not so good. I was not liking it so much. Mm-hmm.
Would you say it's sort of similar to, say, the Reeve G2's Windows Mixer LT, or worse, or better? Or
I would say better in terms of the volume, the tracking volume, but still, it is still not as good as Quest 2 or Pico 4. So yeah. It is acceptable. Let's say that, and there's so much room for improvement. I believe they can still do something in terms of software, but in my opinion, this should be much better with that Lighthouse module. It's going to get this Lighthouse module where you can use this with the Lighthouse tracking, and that is probably what I will be going for. Once this is out, I will directly plug it there. So I can also play something like Beat Saber. Like if I wanted to, right? I don't really want to. I also like now Microsoft Flight Simulator, and for that it's perfect, obviously.
You're a simmer now, Seb. You're a simmer.
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to try this headset now with that weaker GPU. I have the 3080 here, so I'm looking forward to try out what can I make it. What can I get with it? Like I'm going to use that Pimax. OpenXR runtime.
Yes, definitely.
And then I'm going to use OpenXR Toolkit. And my question for you, should I use the OpenXR Toolkit and then still do DLSS?
No, because the thing is with DLSS,
they're doing the same thing, right?
It's going to wreck everything the Crystal is about. The The thing is, DLSS, I mean, it's okay, but you really want to see the clarity. Clearly, that's clearly, God, all these things I'm saying. So yeah, use TAA mode, and I would recommend definitely have a play with Steam VR as well, because I must admit, Steam VR works quite well with the Crystal, and it's probably easy for you to just get in straight away and do it.
I know, but I want to maximize the FPS. So then I would use the OpenXR toolkit together with Pimax OpenXR, right?
Yeah. So download Pimax XR, which is I can send you a link, but you probably already got it anyway. And make sure that's the runtime. And then once you're in the sim, in the menu, just go into VR, and then you use the menu, Control F2 together. And then there's a little section that says override resolution. And then you click yes. And then you bring the resolution down from like 80,000, whatever it is. It's like, bring it down to at least sort of what you'd expect from the Aero. I've got actual figures somewhere of what it should be.
If you could send me that later, that would be good. Then I can try it out.
Yeah. I've got it somewhere. And once you've done that, then get out of VR again. I'm basically doing my setup guide on your channel right now.
Perfect.
But yeah, once you've done that, they go straight back into VR. That will then be sort of changed straight away. And yeah, that's it. That's basically all you need to do. And the native resolution is still going to look absolutely incredible.
Right.
But your frames per second is going to be so much better. And I can't wait to see what yours is going to be like in 3080.
Me too.
I had a lot of comments about that myself, but I don't have that GPU, unfortunately.
Okay. But then in OpenXR Toolkit, what should the settings be?
What, in relation to what the resolution? Because that's all you need to change, really. That's it.
You can set up some stuff there, what it should do for you, right? OpenXR Toolkit.
Yeah, don't mess around with anything else. Just change, override the resolution. Maybe you can see the FPS, so you can add that in.
Yeah, that's what I know.
Yeah, that's it. You don't need to do anything else. Okay. Don't mess around with scaling, because it will affect the resolution, and you need to see that raw resolution for your review.
Yeah, I will try that. I'm so excited about it. Like, how good can this be on a 3080? Like the stuff that I tried, Squadrons and Kayak Mirage, that all looked so good and was so playable on the 3080. So yeah, exciting stuff.
After what I said last week, I was probably a bit harsh by saying that you definitely need a 4090, but
probably not.
I'm kind of saying that from because you really need, once you've experienced it with a 4090, it's just unbelievable. But perhaps in the end of the day, that is similar resolution to the Aero, and I used to run the Aero quite happily on a 3090, so it is doable. And even if you have to undersample the headset a little bit, it's still going to be absolutely fantastic. It really is. So. Yeah, I think people with 3080s, you might be okay. I wish I had a GPU. Yeah, please do.
I will find it out.
Know this.
Exactly. Okay, you know what? Let's end the podcast for today. Let's do a shorter episode. I think that's fine as well, right? Because normally we do this 2.5 hour shows, but it's just the two of us today. So I believe it's totally fine to have a 1 hour and 30 minute show. And we did talk about quite a lot still, right? What are your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, I'm absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we could easily go another hour, but yeah, it's nice to have it a bit shorter. And
exactly.
We could. I mean, the crystals and both the headsets you got there, we could literally talk all night about them if you wanted to.
I know, but you know what? I want to get into it now.
That's why, isn't it?
I truly feel like, you know what? I need to play Microsoft Flight Simulator now in that thing. So sorry, guys. we're stopping that podcast now. Yes, and
I get that.
Yeah, right. So I still enjoyed it a lot, today's podcast with you, Steve, and I hope you also out there. Again, thanks a lot to Bobo VR for supporting this podcast, for sponsoring this show. And Bobo VR is doing absolutely amazing accessories for the Quest 2 and for the Pico 4 if you're still looking for a head strap and if you're looking for exchangeable batteries. Look no further. Bobo VR's got you covered, and absolutely my favorite accessories for VR. Okay, so for all the people out there who enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up right now. Don't forget it. And if you love this podcast even, then why don't you leave us a 5-star review so that more people can find this podcast? So open up your heart and your iPhone and your iPad and open the podcast app, find the Next Dimension podcast and leave us a 5-star review. That would be really great. And that's everything that we got for today. We're looking forward to see you in the next episode. Until then, bye-bye.
Take care.
Yeah, it's quite refreshing to have like only a 1.5 hours as well, right, Steve?
It does. It feels like it goes a lot faster, actually, an hour and a half. But I think we can almost pack more into it in a way.
We could. It was more. It was more to the point. Actually, I liked it.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Let's also not make a long after show because I really want to get into the crystal again.
I can tell. I can see it in your eyes. You just want to go flying, don't you?
I really want to fly Paris again.
I've got I'm going to get a message from you in a minute asking for settings. So
exactly.
I'm ready.
Get ready. Exactly. Let me install that good stuff, and then I will fly Paris and I'll fly Tokyo. I love the Tokyo level. The colors when the sun is going down.
Yes, I know what you mean. That one's gorgeous. Just bear in mind though that Paris is probably the worst place you could fly for FPS. It's just really hard.
I know. I can remember.
But then again, it will showcase two different areas as well. I'd recommend something like maybe Scotland or somewhere like beautiful countryside, because then your frames will be up as well. So it'd be a nice contrast, of performance.
I got it. But I always fly Paris, so that's always the one that I use for all the headsets. So let's just see how it goes. Anyways, thanks for watching this, you guys out there. And do let us know. What is your choice this year? Is it going to be the Crystal? Is it going to be the Bigscreen Beyond? Are you excited about the final Beyond? Let us know in the comment section. Do leave a comment because that's really good for the algorithm. So do that now. That would be amazing. Other than that, see you soon. Bye-bye.